to Online Darts, everyone. We've nabbed him, Mr. Steve Brown. I don't want to call you anymore because you're involved in that much. We'll just call you Brownie.
Yeah, that'll do.
First of all, mate, how are you?
Yeah, very well, mate, very well. Just back from holiday, so yeah, no, it was good to get away and have a couple of weeks off, and yeah, no, it was sort of come back to some madness.
Yeah, look, first of all, the ADC flying right now.
Yeah.
Since the rebrand, we haven't really spoken. There's been so much going on. You happy with where you are to where you wanted to be right now?
Yeah, I think we have to be. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're doing it in a more structured way these days. We take our time with stuff, and me being me, I'm always eager to put stuff out there. But luckily, I've got Scott sort of to put the brakes on sometimes. And no, I think we're doing really well, and yeah, I think we're all pleased with it.
The vaults have literally taken everywhere by storm. Did you ever think they'd take off this quick?
Not this quickly. I knew it was a great format and people would enjoy doing it. I think the timing was pretty good for us in terms of that seasons were coming to an end, like Super League season and stuff. So it gave more players an opportunity to test it or to play in it, and I think the results speak for themselves.
Branching out as well, obviously in the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland now as the UK. We'll come on to the rest of it in a minute, but from a UK point of view, and obviously Ireland, how important was it for you to get into those areas? Yeah,
obviously naturally, when we were so keen on sort of making sure the UK model worked first, not rushing. But the more sort of the success we've had in the UK, naturally people outside the UK, and now with the opportunities for Moda Super Series, lots more nations are coming forward now. So we have to be picky and take our time. Don't want to rush into anything. Only work with the right people. But no, I said it's not really a surprise that they want to get involved.
Is there any part of the UK now that you haven't got something?
If I'm honest, I think Scotland's sort of catching fire now. That's going well. Wales has always been a real sort of, if I can say it, like a BDO hotbed. They're quite sort of fixed in their ways there, but I think that's changing slowly. I think they can see the opportunities are there. And once the players at the top end start jumping on it, I think the rest will follow.
Launched in Europe as well. I know that was something that you were keen to get right. Do you feel that you're on the right track there?
Yeah, we've got some really experienced partners in Europe, and obviously they've just teamed up with the NDB, doing lots of work together there. So again, that gives me lots of confidence, and it's quite privileged really that the NDB want to attach their brand. They're sort of one of the best organisations in the world. So the fact they're so keen to work with us is, I think, a testament to the guys that we've got working over there.
On that, obviously we saw some nice things on the stage, and do you feel that you're now moving into territories that perhaps the WDF were in, but people have lost confidence in that organisation? Because we saw on the NDB side of it, the ADC Europe logo on their stage setting rather than the WDF logo. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not too sure what to read into that. I think naturally people will try and put us in that category. But for us, we want to stay in our lane, keep doing the right things, and sort of grow confidence in the brand. And if people are sort of calling for us to do more, then we can look at doing that in the future. And I wouldn't want to be on the WDF board at the moment. I mean, that's, for me, I think is a thankless task, and it's a big old ship to try and turn around.
On that, obviously, players more and more are coming over to the ADC. Do you think part of that is because they have lost confidence? The fact we haven't got a Masters this year, there's less and less ranking events in the UK, and people are now jumping to the ADC because of that, do you feel? Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. If you cancel two of your biggest events, your players are going to lose faith in the tour. I mean, it's a costly tour to do. All these sort of far out, Eastern European countries and stuff, and the prize money is not great. So the fact that you're doing that tour, and then is it going to happen? Is the final actually going to happen? I think is, for the players, they got a tough decision to make.
On the Masters, obviously this is a two-part question. This is part for the ADC and part Steve Brown, the darts fan. When the news that the Masters didn't happen, obviously one, it was kind of good news for the ADC because again it's more confidence lost in one brand, but you as a dart player must be sad to see the Masters isn't happening as well.
Listen, I was sad when the BDO collapsed. I'm a darts fan first. So again, when big events like that gets cancelled, it's not good for darts, it's not a good look for anybody. And I feel for the players that are, and I've been sort of pushed back and had to change their arrangements, and also the organisations that have ran these events with qualifying points on. That their players are going to be disappointed as well. So no, I don't think you take any glory in other people's failures. But for us, again, just stay in our lane and keep doing what we're doing.
Has there been any contact between you and the WDF working together? Because I remember relationships 18 months ago weren't the best. We saw some social media arguments between you and high parties in the WDF. Has there been any contact since about working together?
No, I know. And we were disappointed 18 months ago, and we had a really good proposal. I just think the other organisations have had a pretty bad attitude towards us, if I'm honest. So no, there's not been any more communication, neither with like the EDO or people like that. I mean, they're really negative towards us. So.
Would you be open to working with other organisations down the line?
We'll work with anybody. I just want to make this space better. So I don't care who was with, as long as the players benefit. And I think a more uniform structure would be better. I think it's so disjointed at the moment. But again, you've got people at the head of these organisations that, for whatever reason, don't want to sort of give up any kind of power.
Do you think that they see you guys as a threat? The fact that some of these organisations have been around a long time, and you coming in as the new kids on the block has put some nose out of joint?
Yeah, but I think they have to, because it worked in the past. It doesn't mean it's going to work in the future. And I liken the WDF structure to or the lakeside and stuff is like going to the cinema. But we're Netflix, and we're in your front room. We're doing it, in your local pub or everywhere, and that's only going to continue to grow. And I think they need to look at their structure, if I'm honest.
Is that key to the ADC success, about evolving and playing darts in the 21st century and listening to what players want? Yeah,
being software led is absolutely give us the opportunity, and look how far we've come in a very short period of time. And if that was done with pen and paper and old chalkboards, it would never happen. So no, we are forward thinking, and we're up for new ideas, and we're not scared to. If we make a mistake, we're not scared to change our mind. We'll put our hands up and say that didn't quite work out. Let's try it a different way.
More news dropped this week, the revamped and the restructure of the titles. Excited by that launch?
Really excited, yeah. Obviously the titles back in the mad days, and we announced it then, but we announced so much at once. That was a big mistake on our part. But we've had time to think about this now with the relationship with Modus. We've got an opportunity now to offer players more chance to play on TV. There's another route. They've got the vaults, and we've got the open rankings as well now. So there's more and more opportunities for players to. You just got to look around last week at players winning the qualifiers, and just to see their reactions on social media, dropping to their knees, crying because they're making their TV debuts. And for me, that makes all the hard work worth it.
As well, obviously linked with the JDC close. I remember speaking to you a couple of years ago, and you were like, "Look, not all these kids are going to be professionals. They're not all going to go on to the PDC Dev Tour, Challenge Tour, and everything like that." Now, with almost the double branch, you've got the very talented ones can go off and do that. But now with the ADC, the ones that are still good players, but maybe not at that elite level, have got somewhere to play as well. Yeah, so that was my driving force. But when the BDO collapsed and we were unsure who was taking over the WDF and how successful that was going to be, obviously, like I've always said, that at the PDC there's 128 seats at the top table, and there's millions of dart players to be looked after. So how can I, as a chairman of an organisation, encourage kids to take up a sport that I didn't think had a particularly great future? So that was why we stepped in on an adult level. On the JDC, keeps going from strength to strength as well. And look, there is one kid, and I call him a kid because he still is, even though he's doing remarkable things, is Luke Littler. How proud of you that he is almost the flag bearer for the JDC right now? Yeah, I mean, it's great, but we can't take too much credit for that. He's a phenomenal talent. He's played in many organisations, but for us to give him the opportunity to showcase, and he hit a 9-darter on the stream, I think it was last year or a year before in Gibraltar. No, he's been great for us, great for junior darts, a great effort for darts in general. So obviously the PDC are going to be the beneficiaries of his talents. Again, but I think just for the sport, having someone so young and carefree, I think it just shows that there's no barriers. Also, does it give the youngsters within the JDC someone to look at and someone to aspire to, because he is so good? Obviously, but back in the day you had Eric that you guys used to try and get to, then Phil, then Michael, the list goes on. For these youngsters, they have got someone to aim at. I think it's interesting because once he gets into the PDC and he starts bashing them up, then I think the kids will look at him and think, oh, I could be like Luke. At the moment, when he turns up to kids' events, they're like, oh, Luke's here. So, I don't think I think they'll be glad to see the back of him, put it that way. But no, I think he's an inspiration to them. Again, but I remember talking to him like 3 or 4 years ago and saying that, Luke, nobody does that. You're going to have a peak and a trough, but just keep with it. After I said, I've not seen him dip once. He just seems to get better and better. So at some stage that's going to plateau. We can't keep doing that. But again, I think I'd love to see him on a pro tour next year. I think that he's going to do some real damage on the floor. Obviously, back to the ADC. One thing that keeps getting spoken about is there going to be a end of season event? Maybe not a TV tournament, but even something to start with, like a tour finals weekend or something? It doesn't have to be televised, but is there going to be something to bring each season to an end?
We have so we do it in quarters. So every 3 months that we have a regional championships, etc. I think, me personally, I'm mindful because we tried it once and it didn't work. So when we do it again, I'm going to make sure that there's the best event we can put on. So I think we might be 1 or 2 years away from that. Again, I don't know what's around the corner. Things change every month. But for us, there's no plans at the moment. Although we are working on a project potentially to start next January, which may end up being quite a big prize fund at the end of it.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't like that TV tournament to start with, but you've got the tour events, the Open Series events that maybe the top 32 or something like that to give everyone a shot at the end of the season. It doesn't have to be streamed or televised, but just something to bring that to a close and before you start the new one.
Yeah, again, Phil, obviously, we need a house built on concrete, not on sand. So we're not going to overpromise sponsors, big prize funds that we can't fulfil. At the moment, we don't have many sponsors. So as soon as we start getting the sponsorships in, we can demonstrate that we're value for money for the sponsors as well, which is the main thing. And with all the software and the data that we're collecting now, we're a viable option for a decent sponsor. When that happens, all that money will be pumped into an end of season tournament.
Nice, I like that. So a year's time, what can we expect over the next 12 months from the ADC?
Maybe another big event next year. We're working on that at the moment. I think that'd be quite a groundbreaking event as well. But apart from that, we'll keep doing what we're doing, grow the vaults. It'd be nice to see more vaults in more countries. I think, off the back of that, we have a bona fide qualifying system to play at Modus. Rather than sort of picking wild cards, we want proper tournaments in these countries so the best players get through. But also as a valid pathway for any player who wants to pick up a set of darts, and just the novices, within 6 months, 12 months, they could be on TV.
Are you going to roll the vaults out into Europe?
We'd love to. We've got to speak to our European partners. I think they have their own plans. But I think we've proved in the UK that it really works. And for a night out for £6, you're playing a minimum of 5 matches. You've got the opportunities to qualify for regional events, and play at Modus.
Also, the women's tour has been started by you. Are you pleased with how that's gone to start?
I'd say satisfied. I wouldn't say pleased. I think we could. I think the women need to do a bit more and support these initiatives. Otherwise, they won't last forever. So, if I could talk to women players, I would say, please come and support us, because if it doesn't pick up, then it might not be here next year.
Steve, absolute pleasure, mate. I know you've got to go and get ready for the signal, but it's great to pick your brain as always.
Thanks, mate.